control tower on a windswept airfield just a mile northwest of the town is a reminder of the war. Following the declaration of war, the Air Ministry was looking for possible sites. North Scale on Walney was ideal for them, and RAF Walney was opened in October 1941 as one of 3 coastal airfields with Milham and Flukeborough. Walney was a hive of activity during the war years as a training airfield. The drone of engines from Ansons, Masters, Blenheims and Defiance could be heard day after day as hundreds of personnel went through their training. Many of the air raid shelters are still intact, well over half a century later. They were built quite far apart in case of enemy attack. One of the achievements of Walney was the training of thousands of air gunners during the war years, despite the hazards of the nearby mountains and the balloon barrage at Barrows. Personnel camps were built along Cowes Tarn Lane and near North Scale, and there was also a hostel for women who were in the Auxiliary Air Force. After the war, it was used for civil aircraft, and the first one touched down in 1946, after making the 10-minute hop across the bay from Morecambe. In 1950, Walney Airfield became a municipal aerodrome, but the venture had mixed success and only lasted for 2 years. Eventually it was sold to Vickers for their private use, and it also has been used for gliding. Since the 1950s and 1960s, the face of Barrow has changed immeasurably. It was generally agreed that much of it was looking shabby and was in need of a facelift. The small, isolated town that had managed to make such a name for itself throughout the world needed a new look. Go back 40 years, and the town centre looks a very different place from the modern shopping complex of today.
I think the change in shopping pattern has altered the community spirit tremendously, because in those days you of course knew the proprietor of every shop, you knew the staff in that shop, and you always went there. But what I think is different is that meant all the shops were small, the stock they had was small, the stock was restricted, you probably couldn't get a great range of goods that you would like, and probably, because we were in an isolated position, that may have been reflected in the prices, because there was very little comparison shopping to be able to be done in those days.
Barrow continues to expand outwards, and various improvement schemes got underway in the centre, including the Heart of Barrow project, which has been a catalyst in refurbishing many buildings. Millions of pounds have been spent to give the town a new image. Many of the old buildings and reminders of the industries that helped to make Barrow great have gone forever. New industries are growing up, and efforts continue to bring more firms to the area. The pedestrianisation of the centre and a new modern shopping complex compares well with many cities. But although the old industries have gone, there are still reminders of the great men that helped to shape a great town. The magnificent Victorian Town Hall stands sentinel over the modern shopping complex, the old and the new in harmony. The Town Hall, a reminder of great days past, the new town centre, a sign of confidence in the future. Barrow is still a young town, but with an incredible past. The railway, the iron and steel making industry, and finally shipbuilding all played their part in its development. But in the end, a town can only really be made by the people who live in it. Over the years, men of wealth and men of vision have combined with people who wanted to forge a prosperous future for themselves. These were the ingredients that made Barrow great over the past 150 years. Now there is optimism and hope that the future can be even greater.